So what is going on, guys? My name is Coach Shadong, still born but built for Theme Park News. So what am I reporting on today? We've got more details on Chessington's new drop tower planned for 2021. Hello there, what is going on, guys? My name is Coach Shadong, still born but built for Theme Park News, and yes, we have more details. Now, the South Park's article has just been released, announcing more details on what's happening. So I'm going to be giving you more details like Flying Jumbo's new location, what's going to be happening, what's definitely going to be happening from this planning application. The first video that we did on it yesterday was just first reactions. You know, it was first reactions to what was said, what had been reported, and a few concepts that we were given and able to put up on screen. So same again, big shout out to Towers Times and South Park Media for the planning images, the concept planning images in this video that I'm going to put on your screen as I talk about all the details from the planning application that was reported in the article by the same people. So let's have a look then at more new details on Chessington's new 2021 planned drop tower attraction. So let's have a look then at some more details. So the article reads as follows. This will be a new 25.6 overall height base of the tower ride, which will be set in the existing hollow alongside the ride's operator cabin and plant and mechanical rooms. So this will replace Rameses Revenge in that pit area, which I think will be an advantage to the ride. Guests will be carried onto the top of a ride on board a 16-seat gondola before being released to free fall down the tower. So we know for certain it's not some kind of shot and drop tower, it's an actual just normal rise up and free fall. Although it's not stated within the application who the manufacturer is, plans do confirm there's no comparable attractions at the Merlin Park. So this rules out any, speculations that detonators getting relocated. As if there wasn't enough speculation to say there wasn't, it's definitely confirmed. That's ruling out the detonator will not be coming to Chessington World of Adventures. Thought Park will not be losing another flat ride. Sorry, Quantum. That looks in a state at the minute, so hopefully they get back up and running for the extensive maintenance as soon as possible. Is Quantum going to go from Thorpe? I mean, are we losing Quantum now? I mean, again, we don't know. So moving on then to the key theming feature, which will be a 12.1 metre tall and 12.5 metre wide open-mouthed crocodile head situated around the tower to make it appear that the guests are plummeting into the mouth of the crocodile. The structure will be based on the ancient Egyptian god Sobek, who was represented in Egyptian mythology in both crocodile form and as a human with a crocodile head. Now I'll go on about that a little bit later because I've got some ideas in terms of what we're thinking about name-wise. And it will have an aged and rustic mystical appearance, so it will fit in with the already established Egyptian theme of the Forbidden Kingdom area around Chessington World Adventures. So that pretty much confirms that Forbidden Kingdom is not being rethemed or renamed in some way. It will stay as it is, it will stay as Forbidden Kingdom. This will just be a brand new ride in the area. The ride will also incorporate fountains to spray water at riders as they submerge into the themed tunnel, which is fantastic, as well as a range of lighting and smoke effects, all designed to enhance the narrative for both riders and spectators. So they're really thinking about the overall experience as well as the attraction itself. So approaching from the Gruffalo Arena, guests will pass under a 5 metre tall entrance portal that incorporates the logo for the ride. Guests will then enter the new queue line for the new attraction via the existing Pharaoh's Bazaar building. The queue will lead out the back of the Pharaoh's Bazaar to a new outdoor queuing area, which will loop around until it joins the approximate line of the existing Rameses Revenge queue. Guests will then continue down some steps, arriving at an entrance waterfall feature, through which they'll walk to board the ride. Fast track and ride access pass queues will also be provided with a separate access to the ride using a platform lift available for guests with disabilities. So they're thinking about a disability entrance, fast track, and ride access pass queues as well. So it's good to see that this ride will be one of the major non-coaster additions for Chessington. This will be one of the major attractions at Chessington, because usually the major attractions get the fast tracks, etc. Some family attractions do like to get fast tracks. You look at what Alton Towers do with their fast tracks. They like to do it in separate groups. So Again, I'm not too sure how Chessington's fast track works. Comment down below if you know already. I'll do my research on it. But it's good to see this ride getting fast track and ride accessibility, ride access pass queues as well. So once they've experienced the drop tower, I guess we'll exit the ride from a rear and follow a route up a raised walkway which leads up to and through the Pharaoh Bazaar building, where a small themed shop and photo collection point is proposed for that site. So we know how. We also have a sort of confirmation on where Flying Jumbos is going. So obviously on your screen at the minute you're seeing concept images from the drop tower and also Flying Jumbos, either before or just coming up. I'm going to put these concept images in any random order. Again, another shout out to Towers Town and South Park Media, like before we put them on screen. But again, I want to give another shout out for the concept images. So Flying Jumbo's new location will be coming from the home on the pathway to Safari. It'll be relocated, so it's just behind Rameses Revenge. That will be relocated to the site between Tiny Truckers and Adventure Point Gift Shop, which used to be home to the resort's old blue and white carousel. Now, of course, the old blue and white carousel closed to make way for, obviously, we got the new carousel further down the area in the park, the Chessington Adventure Tree. So the carousel became non-existent. We didn't know what was going to happen. I mentioned in my Chessington long-term development plan video a few months ago, I mentioned about how they could possibly incorporate that with the Tiny Trucker site to create a new attraction. That carousel will not be included in my sort of long-term production plans now, because that's been replaced by the Flying Jumbos being relocated. Both Flying Jumbos and Rameses Revenge will be removed from their current locations at the end of 2019, so you have until the rest of this season to experience both attractions in their current locations and Rameses Revenge at all. It will be highly likely to be demolished, and I'll talk about that in a little bit later. Flying Jumbos intend to be relocated in time for the 2020 season, so Flying Jumbos will be operational from 2020. It won't be operational from 2021, which is good. Good to see it back operating. It's good to see it just being moved and transferred over the winter season, so it shouldn't take too long to do because it's such a family ride. So again, nice to see it open next season. And the new ride in Rameses Revenge's spot will be open for 2021. The area formerly housing Flying Jumbos will be planted to create a grassed area surrounded by landscaping. So they're really thinking of the environment in the old Flying Jumbo site, and of course it adds to the atmosphere sort of behind the new drop ride attraction. So for those of you with a bit of history knowledge, Rameses Revenge is a Huss topspin that opened in 1995 in the Forbidden Kingdom area, which opened the previous year with Terra Tomb. So the Terra Tomb and Forbidden Kingdom area opened before Rameses Revenge, which is kind of like a phase 2 in my opinion of the Forbidden Kingdom section of the park. You know, this was 5 years sort of after, you know, Transylvania, Vampire, Bubbleworks, the original Professor Merc's Bubbleworks came in as sort of a revitalisation to Chessington Zoo to create Chessington World Adventure Theme Park. Though that Transylvania area was a big revitalisation for Chessington, and it really put them on top of the market. And of course, since then, they've added so much new attractions, and Rameses Revenge and Forbidden Kingdom in 2 successive years was no different. So its opening was seen as highly successful at what was the time a novel and unique ride experience. Now, of course, many people will agree it's been on its last legs for quite some time now. It's been on its legs for quite some time. So not many people are surprised by this exit because it's such a family park now, but we are still sad that we're losing this top spin. And again, I'll speak about relocations and demolishments in a little bit. Flying Jumbos first arrived in 1987 and has had several homes, previously in the former Toy Town area, for those of you who remember that one, before making its way onto its current location on the path of Zufari, before now being relocated for next season in the old blue and white carousel spot near Tiny Truckers. So is this going to mean Flying Jumbos it's going to get a repaint? Jeez, I'm out of breath. Does that mean it's going to get a repaint? Again, we don't know. It could be. I mean, we could see a repaint or some kind of upgrade to the theme of Flying Jumbos just to sort of mix it in with that Tiny Truckers area. But there we go. So that's all the new details that we've got then from this article on this planned application. Now, I mentioned Two things. I mentioned theme, about this half human, half crocodile god, and also the demolition or relocation of Rameses Revenge. Now I'm going to get the theme bit out of the way first. Now, the theme of this ride with this half human, half crocodile god, I think that name will be the name for the ride. I personally believe that name, Solek, I believe it was. I think it was Solek, something like that. It scattered my brain for a while. It's scattered my brain for a long time. Sort of having to try and pronounce that name when I was reading through the article the first time, you know, and thinking about it. Solek. Well, I don't think it's Solek, but yes, I think this drop tower is going to be called Sobek, and I think, you know what, I won't think it was a bad name. I'm not going to lie, I won't think it's a bad name because it gets straight to the point. It's short, it's sweet, it's themed to the half human, half crocodile god. And it's going to land, it's going to arise from the Forbidden Kingdom in 2021. So, you know, I think Sobek is going to be the name for this drop tower. I think there's no other name they could choose. I think Sobek really is going to be the name. I think the queue line's going to be incredibly themed. They really are not just choosing this attraction for the sake of it. They're choosing this attraction because they want to follow in the footsteps of Magma at Paulton's Park, and that is what this looks like to me. I don't think this is going to be a Zamperla Sky Tower like many people predicted first. I think we're looking at a Magma at Paulton's Park. I think we're looking at one of those models. You know, I think the success of Magma at Paulton's Park back in 2012 when it opened, and the fact that it had lots of theming in the queue line, the smoke, the noise. We're going to add these water sprays in as well to Chessington's version. You know, this isn't the first time that Chessington, you know, sort of gone, you know, for a ride after Paulton's. You look at the Edge that opened at Paulton's Park, and then Chessington bringing Cobra to their new Wild Asia area, replacing Beano Land, if you remember that one. Comment down below if you remember Beano Land. That was a brilliant area for kids. You know, so this isn't the first time they've followed on from Paulton's. So I think Chessington are going into that Paulton's Park direction, that family theme park direction, not amusement park, but theme park, fully fledged themed areas. That's what Paulton's are starting to do now over the last few years, with Critter Creek retheming one of their kids coasters and that whole area, you know, replacing Wind in the Willows with Beastie Burrows like an insect walk through. Obviously, Lost Kingdom with two new Vekoma coasters and a sort of redo of that old area where the Astroglide, the Land of the Dinosaurs was. And of course, Tornado Springs, you know, retheming the Wave Runner, the trekking tractors, getting some Rio Grande train work done, and of course this new Mack spinning coaster. You know, they've been really refurbishing old rides and retheming them to incorporate them with new rides in a new area. And I think that's what Chessington could start to do. And I think, now, to be fair, I watched the video that UK theme parks did on this, and they showed an image of where the new rides could be located, the new Flying Jumbo site, and the boundary of the site for the next major development in the long-term development plan. You know, I do have a feeling that we are going to see the long-term development plan come into effect right now. I think we're going to see this lodge accommodation. I think we're going to see a new coaster in a couple of years. I think Chessington are going to be on the up with this investment. I think the drop tower is just the start. I think Chessington are going to add their next coaster within the next couple of years. Between 2023 and 2025, I think we're going to see that coaster at Chessington. I think we're going to see the next big coaster at Chessington for family thrill seekers, because that's what they're going for here, a family thrill park. And Rameses Revenge is one of the high class level thrill rides, but doesn't exactly fit the family thrill that Chessington are going for now. So that's why Rameses has been taken out. And also, many people have said, and I've seen it from vlogs, obviously vlogs, pictures, etc. don't do it justice, but I have seen myself that Rameses has been on its last legs for quite some time now, and I think it's only fair to put the ride out of its misery. Ripsaw at Alton Towers, when that was removed, I was sad, but that ride hardly got a queue. It got a queue sometimes, but not all the time like it used to in the day. So I think the top spin rides in the Merlin parks and those type of horse top spins in the UK are becoming more of a rare sight because they're just not the level of thrill that people are looking for anymore. They're looking for the next step up. So I think it's a really tactical move to remove Rameses Revenge, and I think it's the right time because we don't want to see another ride like the old Bubbleworks did before Gruffalo came in to put the ride out of its misery. We didn't want this operating when we didn't feel it needed to anymore. So once again, like the Bubbleworks, at the right place at the right time, Chessington are putting this old ride out of its misery, bringing something new in. And look what Gruffalo did for Chessington. Yes, it's a retheme, not a new attraction, but the Gruffalo really did revitalise that Bubbleworks attraction, kept the system, just rethemed it. And now Bubbleworks has gone from a last leg ride to a ride that could last until the IP goes away. And you know what? Even if the IP does go away at some point for Gruffalo, I think Chessington are more than capable in bringing in an original theme to incorporate that wild theme, that sort of deep dark wood theme that Gruffalo went for. Once the IP from Gruffalo goes away, I've got no problems with them putting an original wild wood theme in there to sort of tell your own story. Keep the projections, just change the story around when the IP goes away. Same with Rameses Revenge. Old ride, put it out of its misery, put in a brand new ride with effects, theming, excellent queue line effects, excellent ride effects, and an excellent attraction itself. So I think this is, obviously it's sad to lose a classic ride like Rameses Revenge. I did Ripsaw, that was pretty much like a slightly smaller version than Rameses Revenge, but it was the follow-on from Rameses Revenge, a couple of years down after Rameses opened first in 1995, Ripsaw 1997. So I've done one of these Huss top spins before, and I'm glad to say I've got the credit. They are good thrill rides, but like I said, I think they're only meant to last for a certain number of years, and I think now's the time to come to the end of its lifespan. So it is sad to lose Rameses, but again, I think we're getting something brilliant for the target market that Chessington are going for. Next to talk about then, Rameses, is it being fully demolished or is it being sent away? Now, there's a lot of people saying it should go to Thorpe Park to help the ride lineup, but again, it falls to that argument of, I don't think it would thrill Thorpe Park visitors. I think Thorpe Park being the big thrill park, yes, that ride fits the bill. However, where would you put it? Now, of course, the site that everyone would say is Slammer's site. Get some water fountains on there and get this ride operating on Slammer's old site. I think Thorpe Park have got something else planned up their sleeve. Obviously, you can't put a new top spin into a park like Alton Towers, which got rid of a top spin. So that's Alton Towers and Thorpe Park out of the question, in my opinion. Unless you send it somewhere else in Europe, I'm around 98% sure this ride's going to get the scrap. I think it's similar to Ripsaw in my opinion. I think Ripsaw's in storage in the park somewhere. Again, comment down below if I'm wrong. But I think Ripsaw has been scrapped and demolished. So I think Rameses is going the same way as its little sister, its little brother, whatever it is, its little sibling. I think it's going the same way. The big sibling of top spins until the end. But yeah, Rameses Revenge is going to the demolishment yard. For any more comments or questions coming about where do you think it's going, I think 98% sure it's going to the demolishment bin. Finally, 2021 is shaping up to be a big year for Merlin Entertainments. Now, I know these are just family attractions. The family coaster planned for Legoland Windsor in that Duplo Valley section. We know that recently trees have been cut round there, so we know that work is going to start progressing on that. There's, talk of, this Chessington drop tower for 2021. The family coaster for Legoland, is it 2020, 2021? Again, not too sure. Comment down below if I'm wrong on that one. But I think Merlin Entertainments could be shaping up for a big year coming next year and the year after, to be fair. I think 2020 could be an exciting one for developments. Of course, you've got Gardaland's Legoland Water Park. I'm sure Heidi Park have got that Peppa Pig Land ride ready. Alton Towers have been teasing. Chessington will be busy relocating Flying Jumbos, ready for 2021 work. And of course, the only part we're missing now is Thorpe Park. So I think Thorpe Park could have something up their sleeve for next year. But again, we don't know anything at this stage in terms of planning, construction, theming, any clearance work, anything. We don't know anything about next year for Thorpe Park, which makes me worry a little bit, but I think I'd be more worried if there was nothing taking place until December. That's the only time I'd be worried, because things can happen in a short space of time between now and a few weeks where something could be announced. But again, we don't know. If it's another event, then I think many people are going to be protesting at Thorpe Park for a new coaster next year, or else we boycott the park. No, I'm joking. But I think Thorpe Park does need a major investment in the I think next year should be a year for major investment, as does 2021 to 2023. I think we need a lot of investment in that park. Obviously, we don't know what's happening yet with Angry Birds Land. Is it here to stay? Obviously, I talked to you months ago about the measure in the Angry Birds 4D site. Is that going to get work done to it? Are we going to see just a new film for next year? Is it just going to be one of those off years again for Thorpe Park? Again, we don't know. I can only think that Soar Alive will bite the dust. I can only think Soar the Ride as an IP, maybe not the coaster itself, but the IP of the Soar brand could be next. Maybe we're going to see a retheme of Soar for next year. Who knows? I mean, we don't know, do we? So again, Thorpe could come up with anything, but 2020 and 2021 is exciting. Alton Towers 2020, Legoland's Family Coaster, Chessington's Drop Tower and long-term development plan, and Legoland Windsor's long-term development plan as well. There's loads of exciting stuff coming with that. So I think parks like Alton Towers and Thorpe Park need to sort of bring up a long-term development plan of their own. Not sure about the European parks. I think Heidi Park are due for a new coaster. I know they've just done work to Colossus, but in terms of new coasts, I think between 2021 and 2023, again, could be a year for a new coaster at Heidi Park. Again, Gardaland, last major coaster that they added was Oblivion the Black Hole, the B&M Dive, way back in 2015, so 2014 I think, yeah. So, they've gone a while with that coaster. Obviously, the Legoland Waterpark's their major year next year, so I don't think we'll see any major investments to Gardaland for a couple of years if they're going to go through that one investment to one park per year cycle again next year and the year after, which seems to be the case at the minute. So, Gardaland getting the major investment next year is this drop tower going to be Chessington getting the major investment next year, not a coaster? Again, is this like a downgrade from a coaster, which would be sad, but again, we don't know if that stage, if that's confirmed or not. Finally, I do want to say, what do you think this could mean if Alton Towers are refurbishing Coca-Cola? Now, I heard some people have sort of, questioned this a couple of times with the addition of this more thrilling drop tower than a family frog hopper being added to Chessington. Could Alton Towers take that one step up and put this new drop tower on a twirling toadstool site maybe? I mean, it's not too tall, as long as it's not, as long as it's on the tree height. And it's that whole debate again with the possibility of a gyro swing if it ever came to the Ripsaw and or Blade site at Alton Towers in the Forbidden Valley section of the park. If they decided to go for a gyro swing, it would only have to be tree high, so you'd have to dig deep. But I'd be fine with that, because it's a gyro swing. We'd love to see that kind of attraction at Alton Towers. So it's that whole thing again of the tree high, and I think that's the kind of restriction that Alton Towers have got with planning permission, new rides and attractions, etc. So that's why Wickerman and Nemesis and Galactica and Smiler and that is not that tall, because of the planning requirements, not going above tree height because they're in a conservation area. Thorpe Park, I don't think have particular height restrictions. If they do, then they're way up there, but if they're on up to 100-foot coasters, like Swarm, for example. But I think Thorpe Park do need a long-term development plan that's going to stay. I think they should confer with their local council to talk about all the developments they plan for the next 10 years, 5-10 years, get it all accepted, and then they can follow that 10-year development plan, 5-10-year development plan each and every year. So once it's all been accepted and all the planning's been accepted for all they're going to add in the next 5-10 years, then they can just work on it. So there's no hassle with trying to plan every year. That's what I think all parks should do. When your long-term development plan finishes, put in another one, so we know exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, it ruins the excitement of teasers, etc., because we don't know what's coming, but it makes sure that parks know what's being added. But again, that means that theme parks have an idea of what's coming, basically, for the next year. So It's a very difficult situation at this stage, but thank you very much for watching this very long Theme Park Newsroom update from Chessington World of Adventure Resort. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video. And for now, guys, my name is Kirsty, not Doncaster born, but built for Theme Park News. Keep on the coast of life, and I'll see you guys in the next video soon. Take care. Have an awesome day, my friends.